Political factors like governmental policies in language education can and have actively suppressed minority languages in favor of the majority dominant language. Without institutional support, marginalized languages have few resources to keep educational initiatives going. On the Isle of Man, Manx had been replaced by English because of changes in language attitude.
Well, pretty much everything has been replaced by English in the entirety of the UK. Exception being some Gaelic, of course. I love the Celtic languages of the British Isles. I find them fascinating. Anyway, whatever it is, whether it be in Scotland, in Ireland, in Cornwall, there, or in Wales, I find them all fascinating. But it's probably because of the innate interest that I have in, as you know, of course, when it comes to anything that even predated the move of the Anglo-Saxons. So the sort of populations, the Britons, and the Celtic populations that the Romans encountered, first with Julius Caesar, so Julius Caesar, and then with Claudius, when, Caesar kind of scouted a little bit in Star Trek, what is it called? StarCraft. In StarCraft terms, Caesar is the one that sent the scouts, did a little scouting in the early game, and then Claudius was the freaking Zergs. They found the tin, and they're like, we're coming for the deposits.
At the height of tourism, islanders began raising their children in English for fear that their language was useless in economic mobility, and it held negative associations of poverty and lack of education. Language shift can also be caused by speech community migration. The move from rural to urban areas takes people out of their small speech communities, where they're forced to adopt the dominant language in order to fit in both socially and in terms of job prospects. Besides language shift, the other main reason for language endangerment is rapid speaker death.
You know what's interesting? Before we go into the rapid speaker death, what she just described sort of happens a little bit in Sicily, where I'm from, in the sense that many of us are raised bilingual. Same for me. So I speak Italian natively and I speak Sicilian natively, specifically my variety of Sicilian. Sometimes it did happen that because I speak both, but if I were in a professional environment, I would switch to Italian. I would not start speaking Sicilian. Imagine, it actually makes me laugh when you think about it. Imagine if I were sitting during an exam at university and my professor is asking me questions and I would be like, Cusci, ta fira parlo siciliana, monica, nakatamo quattro chini minciane. So I can't speak Sicilian to the professor. He would even find it to be a problem because oftentimes Sicilians tend to lack formal registers. You can be formal in Sicilian, but because of what she explained, even if you try to be, it is still considered rude if you speak it in an inappropriate environment, which I think is a little bit of a shame, but it does happen.
Which occurs through a calamity such as genocide, disease, or a natural environmental disaster. In our globalized world, everyone speaking the same language and understanding each other might sound pretty great, like the beginning of a utopia. And a lot of people don't find value in learning a language that only a handful of other people know. But the accelerated rate of language loss the world is currently undergoing is a blow to us all. Research suggests that around 3,000 of the world's languages might disappear in the next 100 years.
That's crazy. What do you guys think? Do you think we will eventually evolve into a single world language, global language, and all other languages will be like a relic from the past? I mean, I don't know, with the advent of AI, and who knows what's going to happen.
Which amounts to about 1 every 2 weeks, a language a fortnight. This is catastrophic to our cultural diversity. When a language is lost, cultural traditions tied to that language also disappear, from songs to remedies to local ecological and geographical knowledge.
Sometimes.
For instance, the Seri of Sonora, Mexico have a whole vocabulary and agricultural knowledge around eelgrass, which is the only grain from the sea that is known to be used as a human food source. Without the Seri, that knowledge would disappear. Language loss can also be seen as a crisis of social identity, as who we are is grounded in the language we speak.
Absolutely.
And there are physical ramifications as well. Research suggests that the maintenance and continued use of indigenous languages has a positive impact on health, and that there's a strong
Well, I'll have to look at that study because that sounds like nonsense to me.
Correlation between language revitalization efforts and improved health outcomes in indigenous communities. Maintaining and revitalizing languages is key to understanding the rich, diverse human experience on Earth in terms of both history and culture. Until her death in 2022 at age 93, ethnographer Cristina Calderon, the last native speaker of Yagan, an indigenous language of southern Chile with no written form, dedicated herself to the preservation of her language. Her work resulted in audio recordings, language workshops, and even transcribed Yagan stories.
I can respect that.
With the underlying goal of one day revitalizing the language.
She does love the word diverse, doesn't she? I mean, it's correct in this scenario. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's true that she did use it a lot. And because this appears to be a scripted video, I think it was intentional. Not that there is anything wrong with it. Everyone can choose whatever. Freedom. Speak however you want.